Hello everyone and welcome to this tutorial on using SQLite 3 from the command line. I am Manas Mishra and today we are going to explore one of the most widely deployed database engine in the world. SQLite is everywhere. It powers parts of the web browsers, mobile apps and countless other applications. The best part, it's incredibly lightweight, requiring zero configuration and runs practically everywhere. In this tutorial, we'll cover how to use the SQLite3 command line interface, useful meta commands that make your life easier, creating a .sqlite.rc configuration file to customize your experience, building a simple but functional to-do list database from scratch. This tutorial is perfect for those who understand basic SQL concepts but haven't had much hands-on experience with SQLite specifically. But by the end, you will be comfortable using this powerful tool for your own projects. Let's get started. First, let's make sure SQLite 3 is installed on our system. Most Linux distributions and macOS come with the SQLite pre-installed. For Windows users, you will need to download it from the official website and set the path variables accordingly. To check if SQLite 3 is installed or not, we'll type in SQLite 3 hyphen version. I am using version 3.49.1. This can be easily downloaded using apt package manager or brew or any other thing. And I had built it using the source code and compiling it in the uh, computer. Now let's create a database. We'll call it to-do-list.db. Here you can see the SQLite prompt. Here we will write all the SQL commands and all the meta commands available in SQLite. If we need to quit out of this prompt, we can write .exit, or we can write .quit, or we can simply press Ctrl+D to get out of this prompt. Another way to open a database in SQLite is first by just starting the SQLite 3 prompt and then using .open and providing the database name. This .open is a meta command. To get the list of all available meta commands, we can type .help. This is the list of all the meta commands available. We'll look into the few important and mostly used ones, like to execute commands in the terminal. We can use .shell. We'll often use it to clear the screen. Here is the list of commonly used meta commands. Now let's execute some SQL queries. We'll start by creating a test table with two attributes, ID and name. Now let's insert a few data. I'm inserting test value with ID1 and sample, and two more values. One with ID2 and an empty string, and the third one with value with ID3 and name null. Now let's see the data we have entered using the select query. Here you can see we are getting an empty string for both empty string and null value, and we are not getting any header or any indication. The output is not very well formatted. So first we'll fix the null value problem. To fix this, we'll use the .null value meta command, which is used to specify what will be shown for the null values. So we'll use this string uh, to represent null values. So now let's see the data again. Now here you can see for the second ID, we are getting an empty string, and for the third, which had the value null, we are getting null value. Now, the second problem we have is for the output format. We are not getting this headers. So for that, we'll use dot headers meta command. If we set it to on, we'll get the header values whenever we get the output. So here you can see we are getting the headers. Now still the output is not very well formatted. So we can use the dot mode meta command and set it to column so that we get a better formatted output, like so. There are many more options for the mode. If we want to see all the possible options, we can use dot help mode, and here it shows all the possible modes in which we can see the output. There are some very useful ones also, like if we want to get the output in the CSV format, or as an HTML table, or as an SQL query to insert it in JSON array, and in as markdown table, and so on. So let's explore each of them. This is the output from box mode. This is my personal favorite. This is the output in CSV format. If we don't want this header, we can set dot headers to be for off, and then we just get the values. So these are in the HTML header table, table row, table head, and so on. Here we get the insert commands, the SQL queries to add these values. This output is in JSON array format. Here we are getting output in each line. This is the list mode. It is the default mode in which we get output in SQLite. This is the in markdown table format. Here we are getting the output in quote format. This is my second favorite format after the box mode, the table format. Here we are getting tab separated format. Now let's clear screen and learn something new. Let's suppose we want to save the CSV or JSON or HTML format output into a N file. So we can do that using dot once meta command. By using dot once, the command that will be executed just after this will be the output will be stored in this file, test export.csv file. Now after getting the output, let's restore the mode to box. To view the output, we'll use the shell command, and we'll cat the test underscore export file. So here we have the output of this command is stored inside this file. One more interesting thing is the dot dump command. This takes a snapshot of the entire database and exports it in a SQL query format. If we execute this SQL query, we'll get the same database as we have right now. To save this dump into an external file, we can use the dot output meta command and provide the name of the external file. In this case, it's test underscore backup.sql. And now when we execute the dump command, the output will be redirected to this file. Now after getting the output, we should restore the output to std out. Now let's check this underscore backup file. Here we can see we have the exact output stored in this file. As you can see, there are many common meta commands that we need to execute to work inside SQLite 3 command line tool. So to make life easier, we can use the .sqlite rc file. Let's exit out of the prompt. We can create a .sqlite rc file inside the home directory. In Mac or Linux, we can simply create it inside the home directory, and for the Windows, we'll have to create it inside the user directory, the .sqlite rc file. Here we can add all the meta commands we want to execute on startup. So I am typing in these four commands. We want the output mode to be box. We want headers to be on. We want the null values to be null, and we want the timer to be on. This timer shows the execution time for each query or command execution. Now let's start again with our to-do list DB. Let's see if the output is in box and we are getting all those things. So here we can see we are getting the output inside box. We are getting headers. We are getting the execution time, and it's working fine. And here it also shows the SQLite RC file loaded. Now let's drop the test table and start with our to-do list application. Now if we see the schema, there are no tables right now. Here you can see we have the ER diagram of our database. We'll have three tables, and the first one would be categories, which would be more or less static. We can add or remove categories if we like. And similarly, we have the priorities. The categories will have a category ID, name, and the color we want those categories to be denoted with. And priorities will have an priority ID, the name of the priority, and also the value, which will be integer. Lower value means lower priority in our case. And the most important table would be task table. Task would have many things: the task ID, title, description, due date. In SQLite, we can store due date either in the form of timestamp or in a standard formatted string, date string or date time strings. And we'll have a completed, which should be boolean, but in SQLite 3 we don't have any boolean data type. We use integers to store it. The 0 is considered as false and any other value as true. Usually we consider 0 as false and 1 as true. And again we have a completion date, and we have category ID and priority ID as foreign keys which point to the references to the categories. We have created all the tables to check what is the schema for all the tables. We can use schema meta command. It shows the schema for each and every table. If we want to see schema for any particular table, we can add the name of the table after the schema command. So we'll get schema for just that table. Now let's add some data. We'll add category data. This is the category personal, which we want to be denoted with blue color, and similarly work with red. and health with green, and learning with purple. Now let's add some priorities. We'll have 4 priorities. The priority with ID 1 with value 1 would be low, and with 2 with will be the medium, third one high, and fourth will be urgent. Now these things are more or less static. Now we'll clear the screen and insert some data into tasks. So the first task is to buy groceries. The second one to prepare presentation. The third one to go jogging. The fourth one to learn SQLite. And the fifth one would be to call mom. Now let's clear the shell. So most of the time you won't have to write these queries by yourself. You can ask you can give schema to the ChatGPT or Claude and ask it to generate the SQL queries. You can get these queries in the description. Now let's check the data we have inserted in the task list. Here we can see the details of task list. Here we are storing just the IDs. We'll see how we can change this to view the category name and category color, priority name and priority value as well in this table. Not exactly table, but we'll create a view to save these things. Now we'll use some meta commands to understand the database. If you are given any database, we can use these commands to explore it. Like this, the dot tables command shows us which tables are there in this database. So there are 3 tables. Similarly, if we want to get the schema of any table, or we want the schema of all tasks, we will use the dot schema command. We'll use the dot indices command to see the indexes. So by default, SQLite has created the indexes for the foreign keys. We have initialized the priority ID and the category ID. Now let's try to take the backup of this database using the dot dump. So we'll set the output to to-do list underscore backup dot SQL file, and we'll perform the dump, and the data will be stored in this file, and we'll restore the dot output to standard out. Now let's check the to-do list underscore backup dot SQL file. Here we have the complete SQL queries that we can execute to get this identical database as we have right now. Now let's create some commonly used queries that will be used inside our application. Practically, we will create some functions in our application, in our Golang, Python, JavaScript, or web application, which will execute these SQL commands whenever the user requests for it. For example, this query will show us the title of the task and the category and priority of all the tasks. Similarly, this query will give us the tasks which are not completed. That means where complete is false and the due date is less than or equal to 30th September 23. And now this command gives us the number of tasks in various categories. In personal, we have 2, health 1, learning 1, work 1. With this command, we can make a task as completed by setting completed to be 1 and the completion date to be now for a specific task. Now let's also see the number of tasks that are completed, pending, and all the tasks. So here we get the number of completed tasks, pending tasks, and the total tasks. You can see these queries are quite cumbersome. To make things easier, we can create a view which will make our life easier. So we are creating a view known as task details, and we are giving it all the tasks details, ID, title, description, and all those. And also we are adding category name and category color, priority name, and priority value as well. So let's see how this will make our life easier. So now if we want to get details of all the tasks, we can simply do select star from task details, and now we will get all the details: the task ID, title, description, due date, completed or not, completion date, category, category color, priority, and priority value as well. Similarly, we can filter out the priority. We can filter out the task by priority as high or urgent, and also we can filter out the task by the category. This completes our SQLite 3 terminal SQLite 3 command line interface video tutorial. Now let's recap. In this video, we learned how to use SQLite 3 CLI and its meta commands. We learned how to set up SQLite RC file, and we created a to-do list application database. We learned how to extract and manipulate data using SQL select queries, and also create views to simplify complex queries. After this, you can learn to create triggers to automatic actions, writing your own SQLite functions, exploring SQLite's full text search capabilities if your application needs to query text a lot. And we can also learn how to connect database to an application. If you found this tutorial helpful, please like, subscribe, and share with others who might benefit. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions, or if there are any SQLite topics you would like me to cover in future videos. Thanks for watching.